Hello and welcome friend. In this new video we will talk about an definite integrals. Capital F of x is an integral of small f of x. Then the definite integral of a function f of x between the limit a and b denoted by integration of f of x between the limit a to b is defined as integration of f of x equal to f of b minus f of a. So this is a definition of definite integral. Now friend, here we will derive important properties of definite integral, and that properties will be very helpful to you for solving the problems. Okay, so here the definition says that here, as per this definition, if we change the variable integration a to b f of t into dt, then we have the same value f of b minus f of a. See this definition. Suppose this is my equation 1 and this is my equation 2. Then you can see that from equation 1 and 2 we have integration of f of x between the limit a to b equal to integration of f of t between the limit a to b. This is our first property. According to this property, the definite integral is independent of variables. The value of integration of f of x and the value of integration of f of t for whenever the limits are given is same, and therefore the first property of definite integral is says that the definite integral is not depend on variable, it is independent on variable. Okay, now let us take the integration of f of x between the limit b to a. This is equal to f of a minus f of b by definition, and we can write it as integration of f of b minus f of a equal to minus integration a to b f of x into dx. F of b minus f of a, from equation 1 you can see that this is nothing but an integration of f of x between the limit a to b. So we have integration of f of x between the limit a to b equal to minus integration of f of x between the limit a to b. This is our second property. What it says? The second property says that when we change the limits, upper limit to lower limit or lower limit and lower limit to upper limit, the sign of integration will be changed. It changes to plus to minus. This is an important second property of definite integral. If we have a number between a and b, suppose b is greater than a and there is a number lies between a and b, let us take integration a to c of f of x plus integration c to b of f of x into dx. By definition, the value of the first term is f of c minus f of a plus value of the second term is f of b minus f of c. Then you can see that f of c plus and f of c minus will be cancelled and we will have f of b minus f of a. What is this? This is nothing but an integration of f of x between the limit a to b. Okay, so let me write it properly so that we will get our third property of definite integral. Integration of f of x between the limit a to b equal to integration a to c f of x into dx plus integration c to b f of x into dx. This is our third property. we have divided the range of the definite integral. What is range? Range is an interval between the upper limit and lower limit. Upper limit b is called as the upper limit of this integration, and a is called as the lower limit of this integration. So whenever there is a point between a and b, upper limit and lower limit, we can divide the range of this definite integral and we split that integral into two parts. Now the question arises in our mind, can we divide the range to a definite points? For example, we have the points like a1, a is less than c1, c1 is less than c2, c2 is less than c3, dash dash dash, cn is less than b. Then we can write the same integration as f of x into dx equal to integration a to c1 f of x into dx plus integration c1 to c2 f of x into dx plus integration c2 to c3 f of x into dx plus integration cn to b f of x into dx. This is the third property of definite integral. Now let us move toward the fourth property of definite integral. Suppose we have limit of this integration is 0 to a f of x a minus x into dx. This is my integration. In this integration, if we put a minus x equal to t, then see the limit. When x equal to 0, we have t equal to a. When x equal to a, we have t equal to 0. Therefore, this integration 0 to a f of a minus x into dx, this will be integration. For 0 we have a and for a we have 0. f of t and dx equal to minus dt into minus dt equal to minus integration a to 0 f of t into dt equal to, by our second property we can change the limit, lower limit and upper limit, and in doing this the value of integration which changes in sign, and hence here the minus become plus and the limits will be integration a to a f of t into dt. Okay, but by the first property, definite integrals are independent of variables. We can write it in terms of x. So we have 0 to a f of x into dx. Then we get an important result, integration 0 to a f of x into dx equal to integration 0 to a f of a minus x into dx. So whenever the lower limit is 0, the value of the integral will remain unchanged. When we take the value x to a minus x, when we changes x to a minus x, the value of the integral will remain unchanged. Okay, now let us evaluate another integration. Integration of f of x between the limit minus a to a. So as per our third property, 0 lies between minus a and a. Then we write this integration a to 0 f of x into dx plus integration 0 to a f of x into dx. Suppose this is my equation number 1. Now here integration minus a to 0 f of x into dx. Let us put in this integration x equal to minus t, then therefore dx will be minus dt, and when x equal to a, then what is t? T will be minus a. When x equal to 0, then what will be t? T will be 0. 0 do not have any sign. Okay. Therefore, integration minus a to 0 f of x into dx equal to integration here x equal to minus a, now x equal to minus a, x equal to minus a, here x equal to minus a, so t will be plus a, right? A, and when x equal to 0 we have t equal to 0. Then f of minus t into dx is minus dt equal to minus integration a to 0 f of minus t into dt equal to, now apply the second property, change the limit, lower limit to upper limit to lower limit. In that, sign will be changed and we will have then 0 to a f of minus t into dt. Again, by first property, definite integrals are independent of variables, so this is equal to integration 0 to a f of minus x into dx. Let us put this value in equation number 1. Then minus a to a f of x into dx equal to integration 0 to a f of minus x into dx plus integration 0 to a f of x into dx. Now friend, when function is even function, when f of x is even, when f of x is even, f of minus x equal to f of x, and when f of x is odd function, then f of minus x equal to minus f of x. Now look at this. Therefore, when we have these two values, integration minus a to a f of x into dx equal to, so when n f of x, f is even function, when f is even, we have f of minus x equal to f of x. Then equation, from equation 2 you can see that this is f of x. Then every term, integration 0 to a f of x, integration 0 to a f of x. So we get 2 times integration 0 to a f of x into dx when f is even. Now when f of x is odd, then my f of minus x equal to minus f of x, then this minus integration 0 to a f of x into dx, this minus and this plus will be 0. So when f is odd function, we have this integration minus a to a will be 0, and when f is an even function, this integration becomes 2 to 2 into integration 0 to a f of x into dx. This is our fifth property. What is this? This is an important property. Integration minus a to a f of x into dx equal to twice integration 0 to a f of x into dx. This is when f is even, and for odd, f is odd, the integral value is 0. Now we have another important property of this definite integral. Let us take integration 0 to 2a, integration 0 to 2a f of x into dx. Okay friend, just we have seen the property 3. In that property we can divide the range in between 0 to 2a. This is 2a, there is a. So we divide this range from 0 to a and a to 2a. 0 to a f of x into dx plus integration a to 2a f of x into dx. Let us call it as equation number 1. Now in second integral we put x equal to, let us put x equal to 2a minus y. Then if we put x equal to 2a minus y, what is a dx equal to minus dy. Now see the limit. When x is equal to a equal to a equal to 2a minus y, this 2a will come to this side, we will get minus a equal to minus y, and we have then y is equal to a. When x is equal to 2a equal to 2a minus y, we get y equal to 0. Okay, so this integration a to 2a f of x into dx will be converted into, for a y equal to a, for 2a y equal to 0, f of 2a minus y into minus dy equal to minus integration a to 0 f of 2a minus y into dy, right? But by second property we can change the limit, and we can then the sign will be changed. So this is 0 to a f of 2a minus y into dy. Again, by the first property, it is not depend on variable, so we write it as 0 to a f of 2a minus x into dx. Then integration 0 to 2a f of x into dx equal to integration 0 to a f of x into dx plus integration 0 to a f of 2a minus x into dx. This is our another important equation in this property. Okay, now here you can see that when f of 2a minus x equal to f of x, then integration 0 to 2a f of x into dx equal to, when we have f of x, then this value will be 2 times integration 0 to a f of x into dx. This is for which value? 2a minus x equal to f of x. Similarly, if we take f of 2a minus x equal to minus f of x, then you can see that this is minus f of x will gives us 0, right? So this is a 0 if f of 2a minus x equal to minus f of x. So this is our sixth property of definite integral. This is our fifth property of definite integral. I hope you have enjoyed this property and their proof. Thank you for watching.
Hello guys.